YouTube, it's Spotty321 here, and I'm back with another Pokemon Sword and Shield video. And today, it's finally here. Today we begin the long-anticipated, long-hinted-at, long-awaited series, Can I Beat Pokemon Sword and Shield using only a Magikarp? Yes, you heard me right. I'm gonna try and beat the entire game of Pokemon Sword using only a Magikarp. So before we get started, don't forget to destroy that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new, if you want to see more of this series. Now let's get into episode 0. So for episode 0, I will be explaining my rule set and my strategy and my plan for the challenge run over some footage of me playing through the game up until the point where the challenge run starts. The challenge run will be starting at the point where I unlock the Comm, because I will be trading in an egg that contains the Magikarp I'll be using, but more on that later. I chose Grookey as my starter, even though I'm hashtag Sobble Squad all the way. Hop got my favorite Sobble, which does not very effective damage against my Magikarp, and the champion Leon chose Scorbunny, which I will be able to do super effective damage against using Hydro Pump. There might be a slight chance I did that on purpose, but just a slight chance. Now, let's get into explaining the rule set for this challenge. The first rule, and the most obvious one, is the only Pokemon I can use in single battles is the one Magikarp that I'll be using for this run. No other Pokemon can be sent out in single battles. However, I will be allowing myself to catch other Pokemon for other reasons. Other reasons could include training, getting items, and whatever reason it is, as long as it's not to use in battle. The second rule of our challenge will be that in the mandatory double battles of the game, which to the best of my recollection include one battle in the gym mission for Piers, the gym mission for Raihan, and Raihan's gym, I will of course be forced to use my one main run Magikarp. However, it will require me to bring a second Pokemon. So for that second Pokemon, I'll be required to bring a level 1 Magikarp. That Magikarp will be forced to target me, my main Magikarp, if at all possible, and it will be required to use its strongest move. The reason I added that last part is because that if during the battle it learns Tackle, I want it to be using Tackle against me, not Splash. Next up, we got that if something can be done at the point in the game I'm at, for example, EV training and other stuff like that, then I will be allowing myself to transfer the Magikarp up to my main Pokemon Sword account where I've already beaten the game to do it faster. Now, I won't be abusing this rule too much, but I will be using it in order to justify some things that I'll be doing to save time, since this run is going to take forever, and I'm going to need to take a couple of shortcuts. So some things that I will be using this rule to justify is I will be using a competitively bred Magikarp for this run, which I mentioned earlier. I bred a Magikarp in my main Pokemon Sword account, and then I saved, hatched it, and checked its stats, and then when I finally got one that was good, I soft reset and traded the egg into this account using some help from my awesome cousin. Thanks a lot to him. This run would not have been possible without him. The way I'll be using this rule to justify that is I could technically sit there fishing a ton of times and hope I get lucky after like hundreds and hundreds of encounters and get a competitive Magikarp with a bunch of IVs, the right nature, etc. But I'm not going to do that. It would just take way too long. The second main thing that I'll be using it to justify is that I will be using my main Pokemon Sword account to EV train. I'll be trading it over to there using Pokemon Home, using the EV training items, and then sending it back. So I could EV train by giving it Pokerust and then battling a ton of Pokemon on Route 1 or the wild area or something. But again, that would just take way too long. So I'm going to be letting myself use my main Pokemon Sword account to cut some corners. Finally, I will be using it to justify the fact that I will be using 3 PP ups to max out the PP on Hydro Pump. Now, you might be asking, how can you say that PP ups can be gotten at this point in the game? Well, the Lotto ID actually allows you to get PP ups at a small chance. So I could trade for a bunch of Pokemon and keep doing the Lotto ID every day. But again, that will take a minimum of 3 days. And I don't want to waste 3 days for this that I don't need to. So I will be justifying it to do that. I will also justify the fact that I'm going to be using a TR for Hydro Pump that I have on my main Pokemon Sword account in order to give it Hydro Pump, because I could go collecting watts in the wild area on this account and then hope that one of the TR salesmen sells it, and if not, just wait another day. But again, there's no point in doing that. So I will be justifying that using Rule 3. However, I will not be using it to do some things which include, but are not limited to, training. All training shall be done in my main game. I also do not plan on using it to justify getting items from Magikarp. I will be doing that in-game. Now we'll be moving on to rule number 4. I will not be allowed to use potions or similar items in battle unless it is at least my 3rd attempt at the battle. So, I will be trying at least 2 times without using potions, but if it's a tough battle and I end up needing to, I would rather use a few potions than over-level way too much. Then I will also be not allowing myself to use X items unless it's at least my 5th attempt and I deem it absolutely necessary, because if I see that it's possible within reason to do it using potions only, then I'll try my best to do that instead. And that brings me to my 6th rule. I will try my best not to over level, and I'll balance that with potions. So if I think that I could win a battle by either leveling up like 15 times or using a couple potions, I'll choose one. I might gravitate more towards potions rather than leveling up, so that other battles later on aren't super easy. Now, as you can see here, I have obtained my Magikarp, which I will be using for the run, thanks again to a trade with my awesome cousin. Now let's get back to the rules. 7. Magikarp will be allowed to hold items. That's just something I want to add to make it a tiny bit easier. Number 8. The challenge run starts when I unlock the Y-Comm. So, as you can see here, I just unlocked the Y-Comm. So, I will be starting my run here. The reason I wanted to do this was so that I can use my competitively bred Magikarp, and I'm not forced to fish for one right next to the place where you battle Hop, and because I would have to use that in that second Hop battle. Number 9, I will be allowed to invite other people to max raid battles, because you would have to fight with CPUs anyway, and max raid battles will be allowed to train. Number 10, I will be allowing Magikarp to Dynamax. Pretty self-explanatory. 11, I can retry battles as many times as I like, but I will end the run if I've maxed out its stats, maxed out like items, I've tried using X items and everything, and I just eventually can't do it anymore. I decide that that's it. Number 12, rules are subject to change at my discretion if I deem necessary, but I won't be abusing that. However, if I find out that there's something I need to change, I will be changing it. So, as you guys can see, it looks like we've made it to the wild area, and this is where I'll be leaving off. By the start of the next video, Magikarp will be trained up, EV trained, and have Hydro Pump. I hope you guys enjoyed episode 0, and if you guys want to see episode 1 as soon as possible, don't forget to destroy that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new for more Pokemon content. Thanks for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.